Health Alert is brought to you by OU Physicians in Tulsa. Hello, welcome to Health Alert. I'm Pam Butler. Today we're going to talk about running and the benefits of running related to health. And joining me is Cheryl Rush. Welcome to the program, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Now I want you to start to talk to our viewers about your health and issues, and sort of we'll get into the exercise and the running and things like that. But sometimes we think that if we have health issues, that we're prevented from doing a lot of things. We couldn't look at trying to run a marathon or trying to be extremely active. We sort of think we need to sit back and take it easy. So share with us what you will about your health condition.
Well, back in 2004, I had an injury and I fell off a ladder while I was painting my house at the roof line, and I subsequently had to have a knee surgery. Okay. And what happened was I didn't recover from that knee surgery. And so about 9 months after the first one, the doctors didn't know what was wrong, so they took me back in for another exploratory surgery, and they put in a donor graft and some different things into my knee to try and stabilize it.
Okay.
I progressed a little bit after that surgery, but then what happened was that it's just like something stopped. And I was having trouble walking, I was limping around. Physical therapy, I wasn't making any progress with that, so we stopped doing physical therapy and thought maybe just with time would heal. And after about 9 months of that, I was not healing and things seemed to be regressing, so I had a MRI done on my spine.
Okay.
And they found a tumor on my spine. And the doctor, was talking to me and telling me, what they could do, what they couldn't do. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, I said, well, if the boogeyman came after me, would I ever be able to run away? And he said, no longer will you be able to run. And I was just like, what? And he said, you won't ever be able to run again. And he goes, it's a matter of time before you'll be able to walk. Before you won't be able to walk.
Okay.
And so I took that for a while, and I kind of was thinking on it, and really didn't know how to respond to that. And I was sitting in church one day, and I just felt like the Lord said to me, what's in your hand to do? And I was very active with children, and I just didn't feel like I could physically have the energy or capability of doing some of the things I had done before.
Okay.
But I felt like the Lord said, you still have 2 legs. And I'm like, but I can't walk. So I fought with God for a while. And then a friend of mine came to me and said, you want to start walking? And I kind of laughed at her. I was sporting a nice brace on my leg for about 2 years at that point.
2 years?
2 years.
You had been pretty immobile.
Yes.
My goodness.
And we started to walk very short distances. Matter of just a few minutes at a time. Okay. And then I would literally be in bed for the remainder of the day.
Because you were so exhausted?
Because I was exhausted, I was in pain, I would swell. The doctors really didn't know what was causing all of it. And so gradually I started walking a little bit farther distances, and about 7 months after walking just a few minutes, I was able to walk my first 5K. And then once I started walking my first 5K, I then began with the newbies group at Runner's World.
Okay, now when you were walking your first 5K, were you still with your friend doing this, or did you join some official organized effort?
My friend was still with me. We were still walking together. Mm-hmm. She actually ran the race, and then they came back after me to help me finish my race.
Okay.
And so I finished, and a couple months later I started with the newbies group at Runner's World.
Okay.
And with the newbies group at Runner's World, you begin out walking, and then you start running pole to pole on Riverside Drive, which is the light poles in between, and you would run a short distance and then you would walk a short distance. Gradually I started doing that more and more, and I was able to run farther distances at that point. So I decided, hey, I want to run a half marathon.
Okay.
And that was in 2008. And so I decided I wanted to run the half marathon, and with the training group, the camaraderie of the group, that really kept me going.
Well, let me ask this question before you go on and get to the marathon, and such an incredible feat. As you were doing the 5K and the work with the newbies group, What was your doctor saying? I mean, because you had to be going back for checkups. Were they telling you you're causing more harm, or
They
were
didn't
they
want me
amazed?
doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, they did not want me to run. They thought that at any time if I fell because I had numbness in my leg, you know, when I ran due to the tumor and things, and I would have some incidences where I would fall. They were afraid that if I continued to fall and have, you know, accidents and get hurt, that eventually I would either have to have a knee replacement or something else could, you know, another medical condition could arise out of it. And so they were not quite too happy that I was doing it. And but I continued. I set my face and was like, no, this is what I want to do. And so the nurse and the doctors, you know, I still was on medication and things like that for the inflammation to keep that under control during that time.
Now, were they seeing any real improvement, or did you find, because you said before you would have swelling and things such as that before you ever started to try to walk, did the swelling tend to intensify for a period of time where you really were having to put forth more effort, or did it sort of seemingly reside, you know, sort of reside a little bit and then get worse after you finish? I mean, was there some difference you can tell that maybe this is working?
No, not at first. The pain intensity was there. I would swell every single time. I'd always have to ice before and after. There were things, you know, with medication, I'd always had to make sure I took it the night before to try and control some of that inflammation from beginning, you know. But when I began to walk and run, I would slowly do it. I was a very slow walker runner, and I still am. But it was the matter of just getting out there and trying to do something, you know, and it's just putting one foot in front of the other and just, you know, take that first step. And when you take the first step, the next step's going to come.
So now, are you involved in the infamous or the famous Route 66?
Yes.
Is it a Route 66 marathon that occurs every year?
Yes.
So you participate in that at this point?
Yes, I do. I've completed one half marathon at the Route 66 in 2008, and I just completed my first full marathon last year in November.
My goodness. Now, what are your doctors saying now, Cheryl?
Well, I went back to them. Well, after the half marathon, I took in my medal, and the nurse walked in, and she had known ahead of time that I was coming in, and she knew that I had completed it, but she did not tell the doctor. And so I went in, and the doctor came in, and he just looked at it, and he said, "You didn't run that." And I said, "Yeah, I did." I said, "I walked part of it, but yeah, you know, I completed it." And he goes, "Really?" And he looked at the medal, you know, and I said, "Yes." And the nurse said, "Now, you remember what you told her?" He goes, "Yeah, I remember." And he just sat back and grinned. He was so pleased, you know, that I finished it. And, you know, then I thought, hey, if I can do a half, then I can do a full. It was just a matter of when, you know. And through injury and all the things that you go through as a runner, you know, hamstring injuries and things like that, it happened. You know, I kept training with Runner's World, and, you know, I mean, I had to take time off here and there, and Dr. Zollner at Zollner Chiropractic, he really helped me out, keeping me in alignment. He helped out with the injuries through taping and showing me how to run more properly. Yeah, I had a bunch of support, and the camaraderie of the Runner's World group, the support was there to keep me going.
Well, as we wrap up here, because I need to take a break, and I'm going to talk to Jack about his experiences, would you tell people that they should persist and try this, because overall your health has improved?
Right. Overall, my health has improved. I will say it takes three things: desire, determination, and dedication, and that'll equal your destination.
Thank you so much. I like that. Thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome.
Well, please stay with us, because we'll be right back with Jack.